Hey there everyone, Lord Frigid here with another episode of Aether Raids Offense. Today we are back in a light season, and I had a pretty smooth season this time around. Very welcome after the past couple weeks that I had. I used Anna as my bonus unit, and as I described on my last Aether Raids Offense video in the conclusion, I really just used her as a smite bot, which honestly doesn't really bother me. I actually like being able to use my bonus units as just smite bots or just reposition bots, depending on the team and the season and whatnot. And the reason I prefer that is honestly for consistency. I like being able to say at the end of a map that, yes, no matter who my bonus unit was, I would have been able to beat that map with this team. It gives me, I don't know, it increases my confidence, reinforces my confidence rather, in the raiding parties that I've designed. So maybe that's just me being weird, but that's my thoughts on the subject. Anyway, that's I guess that's your weird bit of Lord Frigid philosophy for the day. So with that taken care of, let's go ahead and get into today's battles. Today's first map is an interesting prison setup on Spring Breeze. The map features Julia and Kyria as strong 2-range threats, along with some of the harder-to-eliminate armors in Brave Edelgard, Sothis, and Idun. For those who aren't aware, I refer to Sothis' Winter Festival alt as Sothis. I see a few ways to initiate here. One is to drop a very res-bulky tank in front of Kyria. This blocks a lot of nasty things that might otherwise trip you up. It forces Julia to attack first, so she doesn't get the guaranteed follow-up from Dark Scripture. Technically, she doesn't get its -6 attack and res combat penalties either, but your unit will still have to deal with those because Kyria's Mirage Rod applies them anyway. It also prevents Edelgard from warping out of her structure prison, forcing her to break the block to escape. You could also take Kyria out and get a unit in front of Julia, to block both her and Sothis in place. This also prevents Edelgard from warping, and traps one of the map's biggest threats to boot. The final option I see is a hit-and-run maneuver, which would get the enemies moving safely because the team has no refresher. Alright, I will be sending in the CEta raiding party for this battle. I'll be able to manage a turn 3 initiation here. I just need to break some structures here, notably the flower bed, the lamp post, the panic manor, and the breakable block above the panic manor. After that, I will kick things off by taking out Sothis with CEta. Fortunately, Sothis is not exactly known for her defense stat. She's got great speed and res, though. More so speed than res, although that's neither here nor there. And of course, having triangle disadvantage and being an armor susceptible to the wing sword definitely helps CEta in that regard. After that, Sothis does have special fighter, but CEta is actually faster, so she will be able to get one charge off on the Gale Force, although that's not super significant. The important thing is that she will be able to 2H KO Kyria after a refresh from Peony, who I will be smiting in. That will allow her to activate Gale Force and then go on to take down Julia. And after that, it should be pretty smooth sailing. Really, the only worries I would have for CEta on this map are actually getting attacked by Kyria and Julia. Sure, they are mages. They do hit her res stat, which is quite high, especially relative to her defense stat. However, they do swing quite hard, and Julia in particular has that automatic follow-up. Not exactly the greatest thing to be hit by. Let's take a look, see how this enemy phase plays out. Oh, interesting. Edelgard actually warps out in front of Sothis. My planning phase had involved mostly sticking Idun right in front of Kyria, which actually makes it impossible for Edelgard to warp out. So that's the source of my surprise. I forgot to take into account that with CEta's positioning, yes, Edelgard can warp in front of Sothis. However, due to the triangle advantage and armor effectiveness, CEta is able to net that KO. Of course, the Pegasus Flight defense reduction also helped a lot. I'm going to go ahead and break this Aether Amphora here, and I'm going to go ahead and take out the Dark Shrine in this position here. Just sort of get that out of the way so CEta and Azura don't have to worry about that anymore. So let's take a look. Idun does go ahead and continue straight down. I thought there was maybe a remote, but virtually non-zero chance that she would go up instead. But of course, I suppose Triangle lit up Diana probably dragged her down. I think, actually, between CEta and Azura, I should be able to net the KO here. I can at least have Azura attack. That much is certain. Then, I will go ahead and grab the Aether Fountain with air. And then if if the numbers don't work out, then I can just refresh and reposition everybody out to safety. There is no healing tower on this map, so that'll be totally fine. But let's see if this... excellent. So CEta can actually KO Idun, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that should be a pretty clean finisher to this map.
I will lead.
The second map up is a Restore Trap setup, with Veronica positioned to be able to restore Hell and Tethys. I suspect the team is designed so that Hell is prioritized, which will grant the biggest range extension to Veronica after Tethys' refresh. There's also a nasty Wings of Mercy chain, with Micaiah and Bramimond able to warp to a low HP ally for additional follow-up. The map doesn't have any glaring structural weaknesses. The only questionable thing about the buildings is the inactive duo's hindrance structure at the top. If you can't immediately take the fight to the enemy on turn 1, your best bet is probably to have open space on your backline. Note that the lower right corner is not in Veronica's range if she gets refreshed after restoring Hell. Neither are the two spaces in the lower left corner, though those can both be targeted by a refreshed Bramimond. That said, another option that you have is actually to get a unit up to the heavy trap on the left edge of the map. That is actually outside of Veronica's threat range. It will force attacks out of Lyn and Bramimond and probably Micaiah immediately, meaning that you actually have more open safe space, on the left side than the map would initially have you believe. I've definitely said this before, but I'll say it again now. It's sometimes the best way to handle a space suppression setup is just to get right up into the enemy's face before whatever traps they have set up have a chance to go off. Certainly the case here. I'm going to kick things off by having CEta break this pumpkin lanterns, thank you. And then after a refresh from Peony and a reposition from Air, she will be able to take down both Bramimond and Lyn, and she will be fighting Lyn from the space to her right. And the significance of that is that it blocks the enemies and reduces the amount of avenues they have to attack her. Now, I haven't actually calculated out this entire enemy phase or even mapped it all out in my head, but I know that there's enough restore and refresh action burn-ups that CEta is not going to be significantly threatened on this phase. So let's go ahead and see how they choose to move here. Okay, Hell goes straight down. That's nice. And since Micaiah is not able to attack CEta, she has no space to do it, Veronica is forced to do that. So now, let's take a look. I think I should at least have CEta take down both Micaiah and Veronica. Stop the restore trap from going off again. Especially nice because I will be able to get rid of Veronica before her miracle is ready. And then I'll have to see. CEta is now currently in the range of both Hell and Tethys. I believe it would be beneficial if Anna should be able to survive this. Tethys does not double, so that should be fun. Let me go ahead and do this. Maybe get some field buffs up on her. So there is absolutely no problem with the CEta versus Hell matchup. Hell targets her res. Of course, CEta's res is absolutely massive. And of course, Hell also has triangle disadvantage. Plus, CEta reduces her attack by, I think it probably is the full measure of 11. 7 from Pegasus Flight and 4 with the attack speed rain. So that matchup is absolutely no trouble. Now I'll have CEta go for the Aether structures while I have the rest of my units retreat. Let me actually get rid of that tactics room in case I find that it starts to bother me. I don't think it will, but just in case. Although actually, if Tethys goes straight left, maybe it would have been better to leave it there because it would have been easier to trap her. Oh well. Thoughts for improvement next time, perhaps. Let's see. I think I should be able to send Azura up here. I don't want to charge that iceberg.
What next?
However, I can just have her take a couple hits. Azura should be able to 4H KO the Tethys with a Gale Force activation, so I'm not really super concerned about having to take that iceberg. She's got a whole nother turn, and since CEta is in position to get the Aether Fountain well before she's actually able to attack Azura with the iceberg, I don't see any issue here. I should be able to just park Azura right in front of Tethys here and get the Gentle Dream bonuses so she doesn't get hit by those ploys. And then we will have to see. Okay, Tethys does attack from the space above and to the right of Azura, which puts her in CEta's range. I wonder... well, actually, just out of curiosity. But no, I should have her take the fountain And then have Azura, actually from here, so she gets the Flower of Joy bonuses. She'll activate Gale Force, and with her second round of combat, she will be able to seal the deal.
Let's go.
Today's final map is a rally trap setup featuring a whole lot of rallies, but only one refresher. This can actually make things harder to predict in some cases. It also uses reasonably high-range vanguards in Yoon and Azama, the latter of which is built to be that really annoying guy that you just can't take down. The biggest structural weakness is the enemy's checkerboard formation. If you can take down Azama, you can trap the remaining foes with only 2 units. Of course, the trick there is that you have to actually take down Azama, which is no easy feat. If you can't manage that, you may be able to get some mileage out of sending a vantage tank, or possibly even a regular old 2-range tank, up the left side, and parking them here, breaking the tactics room on the right for good measure. This ensures that Eliwood, the team's hardy bearing user, will not be able to reach you on the first enemy phase. Alright, I actually have a few team comp options to use here, but I think I can work with the Idun team. Interesting to note is that Milla can't actually isolate Eldigan, however she can isolate Azama and Brunia. And I guess more importantly, she can isolate Brunia, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick things off by sticking Idun at the edge of Yoon's range. So since Brunia cannot rally, that basically forces the rally to come out from Bramimond. Now Eldigan does not carry aerobatics, so he cannot warp to Bramimond for the refresh, which guarantees that Yoon attacks before Bramimond. And of course, when Yoon attacks, the pulse smoke is going to go off, and Bramimond will lose his Luna. Also important here is that Idun does not have a speed buff, and there is a Bright Shrine on this map. And that Bright Shrine actually lowers her visible speed to below 35, which means that Void Tome is not going to grant its guaranteed follow-up to Bramimond, which is going to be incredibly significant for the future turns of this player. And I'm not sure how Brunia, Azama, and Eliwood are going to behave, so I'm probably going to need to take some thinking time after this enemy phase ends, just to figure out how I want to deal with the resulting enemy movements. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Idun does manage to take down Bramimond, taking not too much damage in the process. And let's see here. Yeah, okay, yeah, definitely going to take some thinking time for this one. Alright, I have determined that I'm actually in a significant amount of trouble here. But the only way I can possibly manage to salvage this is to actually move Idun down here. I will see a rally out of Eliwood twice, both for Azama and Brunia, because both are in range to attack Idun. So let's see here, that burns up the refreshes. Oh, what? I was actually expecting Azama to be prioritized since he didn't take any damage, but this actually turns out better. Brunia does have the damage to KO Idun from 67 HP. However, Idun's noontime does grant her enough health to narrowly survive her attack, which is going to be very, very useful. And we'll actually have to see. Azama should actually drop a martyr on her. Yeah, that's true. Oh, interesting. He warps to her right. Let's take a look and see what this looks like. Ooh, that sucks. And it can. Anna can do it. But I wonder if it do. Ooh, yikes. Okay, I need to take some more thinking time. Hold on. Alrighty, I've determined that the best path forward is to have Air take out Brunia, and I will accomplish that by moving her to shake off the Bright Shrine penalties, and then refreshing her, so now she is in the same column as Peony and in range of the drive attack, so she will be able to net the KO. And then I need to move Idun to the left, or one space to the left, rather. Now, Azama is in range to attack either Idun or Milla, so Eliwood is going to provide a rally, so getting Idun to the left is necessary so she gets out of Eliwood's range. Normally, it wouldn't be too much of a problem for her to fight Eliwood. However, Eliwood, she does not have her special fighter up right now, so he would actually activate his Glacies on her, which I definitely don't want to happen. So Azama goes after Milla. Oh, perfect. Eliwood goes after Anna as expected, and this is absolutely wonderful because now I can have Air attack Eliwood twice, and then I should be able to have finished the job with Idun. I was actually half expecting Half expecting Azama to attack Air instead of Milla, but I'm okay with this too. It looks like I won't even need to have Idun finish the job on Eliwood, because Air actually just straight up 2 HKOs him. I'm surprised that there was that much of a swing. Let's see here, what was it? Her first attack was 23 damage, second attack was 38. Was that really 15?
Yes.
I guess what? 5 from Bright Shrine, 7 from Dagger debuffs, total 12. And then the Peony Gentle Dream bonus is for 3. Yeah, that's a swing of 15. Okay, interesting. So, Azama continues to attack Milla, and Eldigan moves... Oh, interesting here. Eldigan did not move down and right, so I'm on turn 5 now, so I have some time. Now, Azama's range does not overlap with Eldigan's, so what I can do, actually, is I can get Milla over to the left-hand side, force Eldigan to attack Idun.
Like this.
So let me actually go ahead and execute that. Let's move here, reposition her into safety, get some field buffs onto Idun, and then have Air progress up towards the Aether structures in the upper half of the map. So Eldigan is now going to be forced to attack Idun. I don't think he dies, just because of triangle advantage and mitigating 50% of Idun's first hit. However, he does not win the matchup by any means. Idun is going to shred a good chunk of his HP bar. And then, let's see, I think I should be able to have Idun finish off Eldigan. And then really the only question is, do I want to leave Milla in Azama's range, or do I want to just have him fight Idun? And I don't think it really matters. I mean, obviously his attack is complete garbage, so regardless, he's going to be dealing as zeros. I think it should be okay to leave Milla in range here. Let's see. Actually, does he attack Idun now? Now that Milla has that Fortify Res 4 buff. She got 50 res. Although actually, wait, no. Idun has Demonic Breath, so 47, that bumps it up to 51, and then plus Milla's Nurturing Breath is an additional 2. So I think the logic there, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's that he deals nothing to either, but he deals less nothing to Milla on a mathematical scale if you factor in negative numbers. So that, I believe, is why he chooses to attack Milla, but I'm not 100% sure if that's how it works. So let's see, I should be able to, yeah, this is turn 7, so I don't need to kill him right now. Of course, if I didn't have Milla's turn wheel, that would be a different story. Of course, if I didn't have Milla's turn wheel, I wouldn't have executed this strategy. So now, but I do actually have the ability to grab the Aether Foray and have Idun finish the job.
You are in my way.
And that is it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Aether Raids Offense. That third battle was really rough. I'm not sure if you were able to tell, since the length of that clear is not really representative of the amount of time I spent pondering over that map and trying to figure out the best way to deal with it. And honestly, at the end of it all, I had to ask myself, was it really worth the extra 18 points that I got off of deploying the Idun raiding party instead of the Glimmer Gang? And I gotta say, I don't think it was. I really should have deployed that team. And actually, that would have been the that particular team's debut, both for the Aether Raids Offense series and for Aether Raids in general. I've put it together, but I've never actually used it. So, oh well, maybe next time, and I guess until then you'll all just have to enter wild speculation mode as to what sort of team comp I could possibly have put together to merit a name like Glimmer Gang, which does actually take up exactly the 12-character team name limit, for anyone who was wondering. In any case, next week we are going to go back into Astra season. I actually haven't checked the bonus rotation at the time of the recording of this conclusion, but I'm sure I will figure something out. I'm very excited to showcase some new raiding party team compositions using Plumeria, since she is new, she's a refresher, she grants speed bonuses, yay! I was able to move Marita over into Astra, so I'm very much looking forward to her return. She should be a very nice addition to that lineup. So, As always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.